Let's get to it. Okay, so on the back, safe place to be. Knees straight up, arms out to the sides in a T. And again, the arms out to the sides are meant to inspire you to expand your breath, not only into the back side of the body, but to the sides of the body. It's easy to think of the breath moving up towards the ceiling. Easy to think, I think, in a second way to inhale into the back side of the body, but not as intuitive to also breathe into the sides of the body. But once you master this ability to expand sideways, then it makes the asymmetrical work with the legs and the hips a little bit more intuitive with the breath, knowing that there's a way that the breath can expand sideways. So we're always exploring with great curiosity and kindness the different corners of our body, whether it be with the breath, whether it be with an opening, a stretch. So see if the right or the left is a little easier to breathe into. Typically, the right side of your breath, or your right lobe, if you will, your right lung, is a little shallower and easier to breathe into. Left side drops a little bit more. So just see if that's true for you, or if it's not always true for everyone. And see what the pace of the breath is. If you could give yourself a word in your mind, what is the quality of your breath right now? And if your mind throws something at you that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Just see if you can observe a quality of your breath. And what does that mean to you? What is a quality? That could be quite confusing as well. You could think of qualities like textures, temperatures, duration, intensity. Is the breath supportive right now, or is it reactive? What is the quality going on with you right now? So we begin the curiosity of the practice with your breath. And then from here, make sure your feet are hip distance apart. We'll go into our supported cat-cow. So as you exhale, round your lower back, neck lengthens. Inhale, lift your lower back. Actually, your neck lengthens here. And exhale, lower back lengthens, neck shortens. And other direction. Inhaling, lower back shortens, if you will, neck lengthens. So playing with that duality in the spine. One part of the spine contracts, another lengthens. Spine is super responsive like that. It's pretty amazing, I think. And when you lower the lower back to the floor, see if you can squeeze down with your heels gently. And then when you inhale and the lower back lifts up, see if you can almost lift your feet up. So your heels kind of draw ever so slightly away from the floor, and see if that creates a deeper opening for you. Playing with the subtleties of movement. And see if that wakes up anything for you. If there's a sticky part, sticky bit, stay there, maybe linger. And stay there for a couple of breaths. More of these movements. And then come back into neutral. And then let's play with that side to side breath. So as you inhale, you're expanding the right side of your body first, and then dip your right hip down towards your right heel. Left crest of your hip, the left hip will come up, and then exhale, come to neutral. And then other side, inhale into the left side. So the left rib cage bulges a little bit. Left sit bone goes down, and then exhale, coming into neutral. So playing with the side to side. Then again, if one side needs a little bit more love and attention, a little more kindness and curiosity, stay there, play with it. You can keep pulsing on that side, or you can hold that expansion to you and what you need. Couple more breaths. Moving with the breath. And then coming into neutral, straighten your left leg. Root your right foot down. Try to get the back of your left thigh down into the floor. You may have to arch your lower back just a little bit, or maybe a lot. Depends on the thighs, depends on your body structure. It can be really hard for some people to get the back of their thighs down, depends on the pelvis. And then from here, push your right foot down, inhale, lift your right hip up. So the side bridge. And exhaling, coming down. Inhale, pushing your right foot down, lifting your right hip up. Getting that opening all along the right side of the back, and then when you exhale, come down. And you can play with almost lifting your right foot up off the floor, and then continue to go back into it. Inhaling, lifting your right hip up. And exhaling and coming down. Again, kindness and curiosity with your back. Okay to move to an edge, but we're not trying to move anything that feels like harm. Nothing to prove here. Just trying to be curious and kind. Often the body follows the mind, has to follow what the mind asks or demands it to do. And that's fine. I think that's an interesting polarity, but then I think it's also really balancing to also have the mind withdraw a little bit and allow the body to lead the way. So in this one, when you find the sticky bits, allow your body to be heard and stay there. Also, instead of moving with the mind in the tempo that the mind thinks you should move at the tempo of the breath. So it's like a balanced relationship between your will and mind and your body and your breath. A couple more of these. I find when I almost pull my right foot up, it's easier for me to get the back of my left thigh to move closer to the. And then bend your left knee, straighten your right leg, and other side. Pushing your right foot down, inhale, lift your left hip up. Exhaling, coming down. Inhale, pushing your left foot down, left hip up. You exhale and come down. At the very base of the movement, almost lift your left heel up off of the floor. See what that does to the right side of the body. Playing with the cross talk of the body between the right and the left. And sometimes it's interesting to see what the mind does when it's told to be still. It'll start bouncing around all sorts of different places because it's not used to that. It'll be almost like a hyperactive puppy. It doesn't know how to be still. It doesn't know how to take cues yet. So there's this concept of puppy mind. We're constantly asking the puppy mind to come back to stillness or focus. In this case, in the practice, it's on the breath and the body. And there's nothing wrong with the puppy mind running off into the future, into the past, or overanalyzing the present. As long as you can, just even for a half a second, pull it back to being fascinated with the body and your breath and what's going on there. It'll be time well worth spending. A couple more of these movements. And then on your last exhale, coming down, relax the legs, relax and feel. And then turn your toes straight up, kneecaps straight up. And then we're going to do, again, another side to side. So inhale, reaching from your right hip through your right leg to your right heel, expanding the right side of the rib cage. And then exhale, come to center. Inhale, reaching from your left hip through the left leg, kneecap to the left heel, expanding the left side of the rib cage. And exhale, coming back into center. So inhale, expand, right hip through the leg, then the right rib cage. And coming into center. And when you reach to that heel, try to stretch the skin on the back of your heel. Imagine that place right between, like right just above where your heel touches the floor if you're standing. We often have a little bit of thick skin there, like calluses. So you can stretch that skin without hyperextending your knees. Again, wiggle to linger here. See if you can feel that in the front of the hips, hip flexors. Couple more breaths. And then relax and feel. Let it go. And then bend your knees one at a time. Place your right shin on top of your left thigh. Knees are going to go to the right. So as you exhale, knees go to the right. You can turn your head to the left. And then inhale, take the knees up. And then exhale, come down. When you come up, remember to focus on the back left side of your pelvis. Pulling up from there is supposed to the knees. It's a slightly more integrated movement, I think, with the core of the body. When you pull up from there, as opposed to just using abs or knees as the focal point. And leave it to linger. If it feels really good to have the knees out to the side, please hang out. I know for some people, they even like to kind of have their ankle catch on their thigh, and then they'll push towards the knee to get a little bit more of a lengthening on the left thigh, left hip. And then inhale, coming on up, and switch sides. Left shin on top of the right thigh. Kindness, curiosity intact. And what's going to go on this side? Let's explore. Maybe even turning the head to the right as the knees go to the left. Inhale, back right side of the pelvis initiates the movement up. And then exhaling, coming down, maybe turning the head to the right. If you get uncoupled with the breath, that's okay. Take a moment, reset, and then continue. Exhaling with gravity, as if gravity has all the momentum to pull you. And then inhaling against gravity to lift up, creating a fullness in the core of the body on the inhale. It's the same thing when coming out of twist. So inhale to come out of twist as opposed to exhale. There is a desire to exhale coming out of a twist because it feels good, but it can also be a little, that's where the back can get a little bit of trouble because we haven't maintained the integrity of the alignment of the spine and back muscles who have just been stretched. So by inhaling and creating an expansion of the body, the greater integration of the muscles in the spine to move out of the twist. So I like to inhale to come out of this. So more integration and exhale. Legal to linger if you'd like to. And then as a further step, you can maybe hook your left ankle on the outside of your right thigh a little bit more and draw that right kneecap away from your right hip. Up to you. Back off when necessary. Exercising that kindness. Inhaling, coming on up. And then relax the legs, relax and feel. Also notice the breath. Like, did anything change from the beginning of class? Because the hips are now more open. For me, it's always just a little bit easier to take a breath in. It's a little smoother, is the word I would use for me today. Because the words will change every day, every moment. Okay, so from here, you're going to bend your knees one at a time. You're going to roll onto your good side, push yourself up, and then roll onto your bellies. And then make a pillow with your forearms and place your head down. I'm going to keep my head up so you can hear me. So from here, bend your knees so your toes are pointing straight up towards the sky. And then you want to be on the belly of your thighs. So notice, if you tuck your tailbone and smash your hips down into the mat, you're smashing your hip flexors and pelvis into the mat. That's one part, the top part of the thighs moving forward towards the floor. Then, if you can imagine, lift your butt up, and then you'll feel your knees point towards the floor. So, and then if you were to come somewhere in between, you'll be more on the belly of the hamstrings. So you're right on the top of the hamstring. That's where I want you to be. And then from here, I'm going to have you point your toe, then I want you to straighten your legs, lift your kneecaps gently off the floor, but don't smash your hips into the floor. And then from here, I want you to, as you inhale, again, right side, left side, inhale, reach to your right heel without smashing your right hip into the floor. The right hip is soft off of the floor, and you're reaching from your right hip through your right leg to your right heel. And then you exhale, come to center. And then same thing, other side, reaching from your left hip through the left thigh to the left heel, trying to stay off from smashing that left hip into the floor, and then coming back into center. And then continue. Inhaling, reaching the right heel, and then coming back into center. So following your own breath. And just exploring that. So there's just a little bit of lift on the hip flexors than there might usually be. It's a very subtle movement. It may not make sense when we first try this. The body may be very confused. You may have never asked your body to do this before, and that's okay. Brain may be very confused and frustrated. But when in doubt, try to maybe soften the knees a little bit as opposed to locking them, and see if you can be more on the quad, top of the quad, the belly of the quad, I should say, as opposed to the hips. We're just exploring, can we move without smashing our hips into the floor? And then coming back into neutral, bend your knees, point your toes straight up again. And then from here, again, you want to be on the belly of your quads. And then see if you can come up very gently onto your forearms. And then notice what happens to your hips. The tendency is to want to smash them down again. Pull your hips up so you're just on the quads, you're on the belly of the quads and not your knees and not the hip bones. Yeah. And then from here, you can start to pull your shoulders back, lift your chest up, and pull your abs in for a mini back bend. If this is too much, you can straighten the legs, or you can take your head down again onto your forearms. There are many ways to play with this back bend. But the key is to stay out of your lower back. You're going to keep lifting up towards your head as opposed to ramming your lower back into the floor. So you're on the quads and you're pulling up out of the hips to lift your chest up as opposed to smashing your pelvis into the floor. So there's a movement up towards your head. Once you have that movement, reach to your knees as much as you can. You're not going to go very far. That's okay. And release. Take a break. Then you can kind of rock your heels side to side to kind of give a shimmy to your lower back. We're going to try this one more time before you go into more dynamic back bend. So from here, bend your knees. You're on the bellies of your quadriceps. You're going to pull your belly button in, and you're going to lift up to your head while you're reaching to your knees without smashing your pelvis into them. Notice if you let go on the abs, the back may complain a little bit, so keep your abs in and keep reaching. And release. And again, you can shimmy your heels side to side to give yourself a little bit of massage in the spine. And we're going to move into our next pose. So you're going to take your hands, you're going to place your palms together, and you're going to rest your head, like you're just between your eyebrows. You rest that on your thumbs as you dig your elbows into the floor and your hands are off of the floor. So you're going to rest your head on your hands. And then relax your feet and just notice the hips. Notice the hips where they're at. So the emphasis is in the top of the hips, hip flexors, pelvis moving into the floor because your upper body's in a back bend. Perfectly natural moment. So now we're going to put more emphasis into the lower back by turning your toes under, lifting your quads up. You're going to be more on your pelvis, but you're going to try to not hit your butt down so you're hanging out in your hip flexors. So your thighs are lifting up. So imagine your creases of your hips are lifting up as much as possible. And then as you inhale, expand the right side of the rib cage and then reach to your right heel. And then exhale, come to center. And then as you inhale, if your left kneecaps are off the floor, you're reaching from your left hip through your left leg to your left heel. And then exhaling, coming into center. So again, playing with the asymmetrical breath. Then asymmetrical movement. Kind of curious to what's going on one side versus the other. If one side needs a little more love, a little more attention, and curiosity, hang out there. Play with that. If it becomes too much and being up is too much, you can come down onto your forearms and do the same thing. So we did this when we were on our backs, reaching to the heels. So trying to stretch the skin on the heels. Now we're in a little bit of a back bend for this. Abs are in. You might notice if you let go, the lower back complains a little bit. There's always a little bit of holding back. And then on your next exhale, as you're in neutral, inhale, reach to both heels, and then lift your chest up just a little bit between the shoulder blades. Pull your abs in, hold the back bend, quads are active, and exhale and release. Let it go. Okay, coming on to your sides. Head in neutral, so your head's on your arms. Knees are bent so you're not falling backwards or forwards. And then from here, you're going to straighten your right leg. Your right foot will be, I'm on my right side, so right leg straight, right foot is flexed because that's a little bit of a kickstand. And my right foot slightly forward, not straight from me, so I can have a little bit of more balance, more of a tripod. Then from here, we're going to do tree pose. So you're going to take your left foot and slide it up the inside of your right leg. And you can use your hand if you'd like to, and then you can take your left hand on the floor to balance you and hold tree. Holding tree on the side, you want to have your right foot flexed as if you were standing on your right foot, and then pull your left thigh, the outside of your left buttock, if you will, down. So the left hip will want to lift up, and you want to instead pull it down and then reach along the inside of your left thigh towards your left kneecap to create a greater opening. And breathe. And then take a break, pile your knees, one on top of the other, relax. See where the blood rushes? And now grab a strap, grab your straps if you need one. We'll need it for this side again. And then from here, you're gonna straighten your right leg, flex your right foot for your kickstand. You're gonna put a strap around the bottom of your right foot. Left foot. You're gonna strap around your left foot. Start in tree. See how that is. And then very gently start to straighten your left leg up. So you may have a strap you're holding up. That's fine. If you don't have a strap, you can use your hand on your calf or on your foot, up to you, where you want to be. So it's a triangle pose for those of you familiar with the traditional yoga poses. Put on the side triangle. The benefit of doing these postures on the ground is that since you're not fighting balance so much, you can focus a little bit more deeply on what's going on in the hips and the legs. But the only drawback is that it requires us to maintain the muscular integrity of the legs and always keep them active. So here you want to keep the quads active, toes are pulling up toward your kneecap, so it inspires the shins to be active, because otherwise we would be supporting ourselves up against gravity and balancing. Take a couple more breaths here. And then gently release. Bend the knee, slowly take it down. Touch tree pose, bend the knees, and relax. See where the blood goes. And then from here, push your left hand down, push yourself up, and switch sides. Start with your knees bent, head in neutral. And then from here, straighten your left leg, have your left foot slightly forward and flexed for your kickstand. And then you can take your right knee, bend it, and place your right foot on this side. Because you're not standing, you can put your foot on the knee. You don't necessarily want to push any weight into the knee to the side so you don't hurt it. Or you can, ideally, you would have the foot just above the knee, so there's no side pressure on the knee. Or you can have the foot on the calf. Everything's on. And then again, observe the right hip, the right glute, if you will. And as opposed to it pulling up, have it pulled down, away from your shoulder, towards your left foot, and underneath you. So there's a slight rotation in the right thigh. And then reach from the inside of your right thigh all the way along the inside of your right thigh to your right kneecap, reach up. So side tree. Hold for a couple more breaths. Right hand's down, supporting you if you need it. And release. Bend your knees, top them on top of each other. Relax and feel. And one more time. So straighten your left leg, pull your left toes up. Then from here, you're going to take your strap, wrap it around the bottom of your right foot, come into tree. And when you are ready, you do not have to straighten the leg all the way, but you can slowly lift the right leg up. You can have the hand on the back of the leg or to the foot. or on the strap, holding the strap. And again, notice the quality of the opening. Are you holding the breath to hold the pose? If you are, back off. Pull the outside of your right hip down and away from your right earlobe. So same thing in tree pose. You're pulling the outside of the right hip down, right glute down, pull the outside of your right hip down, right glute down, away from you. And keep breathing. Side, it's like a triangle pose. Supported triangle of some sort. The tendency is to want to lift the right hip up, keep it down. And release. Bend your right knee. Coming into tree pose. And then relax. Pile the knees on top of each other. And see where the blood flows. And then push your right hand down, push yourself up. And we'll go to supported bound ankle pose. So grab your pillows. Place them one on top of, oh, actually, no, these are going to be down here, and you're going to grab your towels and place them on the back. So my towels are a bit of a disaster, so fold your towels the long way, and then fan fold them. No hot spots. A sit top of your mat. Same thing, other towel. You guys know this. And then stagger the bottoms of the towel where your lower back is going to be, so it's not a hard step up. It's a little bit staggered with staircase for you. And then you're going to sit right on bottoms of your feet together. And then you're going to support the outsides of your ankles and thighs with the towels. And then slowly lie back. And then once you're back, you can flip the towels under at the top and let your head come up. And then arms up to the sides. Supported bound angle. The bound angles are your knees. They're bent so they're angles, and they're bound by the knees. So Baddha means, it's Baddha Konasana, so the Baddha is the bound, Kona is angle in Sanskrit. Shoulders back, put your shoulder blades underneath you. Palms can be face up or face down, up to you. When they're up, it's a little easier to keep the shoulders open. And then we return to the breath. Notice if there's any tension that's built up in the body, feet, calves, thighs. Thighs can hold a lot of tension. Hips as well. Back and your abs, stomach. Upper chest is another place we often hold tension. Shoulders, big tension storing place. It's like a stockpile up there sometimes. Hands, thumbs, also sneaky places to store tension. Jaw, feet also store tension. Tongue, face, forehead, eyes. So if you find any of these little nuggets of tension, take a deep breath into that area, even though your lungs may not reach there. And then exhale and see if you can let it go just even 2%. Chipping away at tension. Or maybe we're just being aware that we store tension there. And we're kindly directing our awareness to that place of tension. And you can even ask yourself, like, what am I holding on to? That's the curiosity. Find curiosity. What am I holding on to? What can I let go? And again, puppy mind starts scrambling around. Start chewing up all sorts of interesting ideas and stories and concerns. Can you encourage the puppy mind to come back to the breath? Something that I've been playing with in my own meditation, in my own practice, is when I inhale, I breathe into what feels like my heart center. I'll breathe in there. And then when I exhale from there up. So I'll breathe in to the heart, and then exhale up the backside of my body to the top of my head. It's like a circle. Inhaling from the front, exhaling along the back to the top of my head. So it's a small circle, even though the rest of my body is definitely responding to it. Sometimes it helps to have a pattern for the breath and the mind to follow together to keep the puppy mind from wandering off. So I'm training my own puppy mind to play in this oval, if you will, breathing down into my heart and exhaling from my heart to the top of my head. Then from here, you can take your hands, support the outside of your thighs, keep your knees together, push your feet, you can pull your feet in just a little bit towards your sit bones. Push your heels down to lift your hips up gently, and take your hips up and over, only your hips up and over to the left a couple of inches. So it feels like your hips are jutting out to the left. And then from here, take your knees over to the right for a twist. So get an opening on the left side of the body. If it is too much, you can take the other pillow and stack it between the knees, so it's less of a intense opening on the left side of the body. And then you can turn your head to the left. So a supported twist. And then very gently, you take your right hand to the outside of your right thigh and gently take your knees up again. And then from here, push your feet down, lift your hips up and over to the right. So your spine is going to be a little bit at a diagonal from your shoulders. And then gently take the knees over to the left. And again, remember, asymmetrical creatures. So one side may need support or may not. Just to see, again, with that curiosity, what's going on. And you adjust. And then you can turn your head to the right. And then from here, support the outside of your left thigh with your left hand. Take your knees back up. Push your feet down. Take your spine back into neutral. And then you're going to very gently roll to the side off of the towels. And maybe you can even support your head if you have a pillow nearby. Allow your spine to come back into neutral. And then from here, push your hand down to push yourself up to have a seat. You can sit on the towels or on a blanket or on many pillows, whatever it takes, again, to sit comfortably. So you can sit in Sukhasana, the easy pose. You can even support your knees with a pillow, but you want the knees to be below the crests of your hips or just at the same level, so you don't feel like you're falling backwards. And then have your hands on your thighs, knees, if you will. Pull your shoulders back. Lift your heart, your chest up, and then reach all the way to the top of your head. And see if you're leaning forward or you're leaning backwards, and try to come into neutral as much as possible. Elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. So the hands don't lead in this. It's the elbows underneath the shoulders that take the lead. Hands just fall where they may. And then again, you can play with that puppy mind and the breath. So for me, my current practice is breathing in to my heart center and then exhaling from there to the top of my head. Playing with that elliptical. But whatever speaks to you, whatever feels right. And then you can take your hands together in front of your heart. Bow your head to yourself. And then lift your head, open your eyes, relax your hands. You are free for the rest of your Sunday. It was great seeing you guys.